Hello, viewers. Welcome back to Ouscraft podcast, where we bring great minds interacting and sharing our views about entrepreneurship, politics, lifestyle, entertainment, and many more. Don't forget to like, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing about is school a good investment or a scam? Mr. Precious, how do you see the school system in Nigeria?
Okay, well, the school system in Nigeria is what I would say about the school system in Nigeria is this. In Africa, there's always a possibility of us taking out. This is the original purpose of something. Then we tend to misconceptualize it. We bring it in, then we tend to add our things, or sometimes we just stick to this is what the people that brought the school system sees and want to stick with this. So the school system in Nigeria, which is primary, secondary, university, for me, is highly predicated on memorization of information, which is you go to the school, you sit down, you define what is biology
Yeah.
or what is chemistry for in terms of those that are in secondary school. Then those that are in primary school, what is social studies. Then for those that are in university, they teach them theories and they don't necessarily put these things into practical. So you
Mm,
have people saying that there are some people that are studying some courses in university, they have never seen some things they study about.
yes.
So that is one thing about the school system in Nigeria, which at the end of the day, for me, the thing that comes to my mind whenever I think about the school system in Nigeria is a quote by Albert Einstein, and he said, um, "Everybody is unique, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will end up thinking that it's stupid." And that is what the school system in Nigeria is, for me, majorly all about. Making everybody to just focus on one thing. Those that can cram will cram and
Yeah.
do well. Then those that cannot cram and they cannot do well.
Yeah.
And they may have other potentials, but that's just what it is. So that's how I see the school system in Nigeria.
So basically, it's just like those that really understand are not given enough privilege. You just have to memorize and write something down and then pass, and then you are given a certificate or whatsoever. People that actually understand are not appreciated enough if you cannot memorize it and put it into writing. Basically, is that what you
Yes,
mean?
yes, that is how to get an A. If you want to
Yes.
get an A, and if you want to get an A, you have to be able to give the exact
Yeah.
theory. Then whether you understand or not, nobody's asking you that. Then you
Mm,
go home to your parents. They are looking at the grade. They are looking at the A that you got. They don't necessarily care whether you. So that's the definition, the requirement or the yardstick for being intelligent and for being fulfilling the school requirement.
in Nigeria. That's not cool. Mr. Famous, how do you see the school system in Nigeria?
Although this school system in Nigeria is good, from my own perspective, is good
Yes.
because even when I try to relate it to our broad school system, it's the equivalent, they're almost the same, apart from
Okay.
the standard of teaching.
Okay.
But the standard of teaching is not actually my issue, but the kind of concept they install in the student is my issue. Are you getting me? At this stage in the country, you can go to school and come out whether you get a job or not, if you look for how to sustain your life. Are you getting me? Either to entrepreneurship or anything you want to do. But the issue I'm having basically is the kind of mindset they come out with, not even the grades. Sometimes the best people on earth are the people that drop out from
Yes.
school,
Yeah.
just as Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. They dropped out and they are the biggest in the world. Are you getting me? So it's not what you studied at the point. So what you studied really matters a lot because that we use the opportunity to share my idea. Now we have two class of people that come out from school.
Okay.
Some that will read their professional courses. They know that once they come out, especially when you study medicine, you get a job and you make some money. You can be able to sustain your family. But if you not study medicine, you will not be able to. It is going to be hard for you, except to have connection out there that we are you getting me
Yeah.
that will sustain you.
Okay.
So, but I from from the rudiment, I will say that the mentality at which you come out from, like the way you come out from school, the mentality that you have plays the highest role.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to succeed in the labor market? Do you think that you cannot do anything until somebody employs you? Are you getting me? So it depends on the student. So if the system is still okay,
Yeah.
the way they structure the school is still okay, because they're going to teach you a lot of discipline. The issue we're having is the people that are coming out from the school with a bad notion of school system. Thank you so
I
much.
kind of disagree with you because you are talking about the system is okay.
Mm,
I feel that the system to some extent
mm,
has not changed. Now, for example, the whole concept of the schooling system in Nigeria is highly depending on the Constitution of 1979. So we talked about the 6-3-3-4 principle, which is okay, they go to primary school, six, they go to junior secondary school, senior secondary school, then university. But when you talk about the system is okay, the system should be able, these are young people at the state of tabula rasa, they don't know anything. So they are just coming to the school with a fresh mind. What you see outside is the product of what they have been educated with. So that mentality that you are talking about, that oh maybe that's what you have a problem with,
mm.
they are being indoctrinated with that mentality by the people. And these people that you see there, to some extent, I will not still hold them accountable. Why? Because they are a product of that same
Yes.
indoctrination.
Yes.
So the people that are
Uh,
lecturing in universities now, most times they are graduates of that same university.
mm.
They, that is all they know. That is what they were taught, and that is what they know. So for me, I feel that there's a problem with the system, not just the people. The system is where the
Okay,
problem
okay.
is.
Let me clarify you a little bit. Now, to an extent, let me say within the age of 30, 35, 40, you may not see the difference somehow in this entrepreneurial race. Difference between an educated somebody and the person that did not go to school.
Oh yeah.
Somehow, when they mix up, you don't know it. Whether they pass through the structure they call school or not, you don't know again. Are you getting me? So most times, how can you see somebody that not go to school? For example, Steve Jobs, for example, according to him, he just got 6 months education, only 6 months education, but he was able to change the world.
Yeah.
I get him. So at the time, I have to think about it. School is just like, for me, it's like a structure that refines us to be better. It's not as if we create a job for us.
No.
Let's be pragmatic. There's no way the country can provide job for everybody. It's not possible. Even if they say we P2B becomes the president of the country, he cannot give us job. That's the truth. Are you getting me? So
Yeah.
I think that school is a structure that refines us to be a little bit better version of ourselves.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is this, because even if I don't go to school, I will still be doing what I'm doing. Are you getting me? But what I can tell you is that I learned some discipline from school. That's what I can tell you. But the school system applying to medicine students, pharmaceutical students, and the nursing and the rest, it is the structure is still okay. That's the
Yeah.
way they created it. Are you getting me? But for those people that studied some professional courses, are you getting me? May have some difficulties. But the
Yeah.
school system is still okay. Are you getting me? The most appreciative thing I can say about school is that they help to refine us. Are you getting me? Help to refine us, teach us some things that we don't know about. You can see somebody, you can say this is the way your body system works and the rest. If not, the system is still good. It's still good. So I would prefer somebody go to school. It's very important. Are you getting me?
Um.
Let me just still say one thing.
Mm.
Of course, I would still prefer somebody to go to school,
Okay, okay.
but I just feel that the system is where the problem is.
Education aspect of the school system does not do anything to the youth or to the people or the people that are opposed to school. It's just the surrounding or the people they meet. It gives them more opportunities to do things better. Because if we talk about the educational aspect of you graduating with first class, second class, and then you when you finish school there is no job for you because it's just an 80-20% chances. It's now the opportunities you get in the process of studying that you now use to make yourself have a meaningful life. But come to think of it, the money that the parents spent in the school fees,
Mm.
is it appropriate? Is it good? Or is it a very, very bad investment?
It's not a bad investment. Like I said, I support school system in Nigeria and abroad. But what the question we should ask is the student that is a child, is she or he putting the parents' money into use? Because I went through school and I know that they lecture in school. They do their very best. Though the concept sometimes is wrong, but they do their very best. But is that student, does she or he knows the reason why he's in the school or she's in the school?
No, let's remove the fact that some of the students don't really take
Okay, are we trying to
the
put in past
money.
the
The
money?
yes, the money,
That's
the
just
fees,
yes,
is the pay this, pay this dues.
yes.
Is it necessary? Is it a good investment at
It's
all?
a good investment. It's a system that needs all this finance to stand. Are you getting me? School system needs funding. Are you getting me?
Okay.
So you can get it through the students. All the development, the lecturers, the non-academic workers, they need to be paid. The structure need to be erected. Are you getting me? So the students, as they feed the students feed back the school with their parents' finance. Are you getting me?
Okay.
But if you have this mindset that school is going to be productive, eh, the money that our parents spent in school is not a waste. That's my own perspective.
So I totally
Okay,
agree with that.
for me, I'll say it this way: every business needs a profit. The church needs an offering and a tithe. Definitely, the school system cannot be exceptional. The school system needs money. But now we are looking at whether is the money okay, is it a waste or is it appropriate? And I feel that to some extent it's okay but not completely okay. Let's look at it from this perspective. Sometimes some parents they tend to spend excessively in terms of the school fees now. If you look at not just the school fees, in terms of accommodation,
Yeah.
in terms of feeding and all that. Now some parents tend to spend almost all the money they have on educating their children, that is in terms of sending them to school. And when they are done with school, like you talked about the 80-20
Percent getting
percent
a
of
job.
getting a job. Now the 80% that didn't get a job, maybe they want to do something for themselves. Sometimes they don't have enough money to
Yes.
start up, and of which had it been the money the parents spent
Yeah.
in sending these children to school, if it's not that expensive, possibly they would have been able to save up something and be able to give this child to start something. So I think that's one of the things that we should look at. If I'm sending my children to school, I should be able to send them to school in a way that if they are going to the school, they should be able to pay their school fees. Yes, then at the end of the day, I should be able to have some money to give to them to start if they are going to start a
Let
business.
me comment to what you just said. Yes, to an extent, like you said, but it mainly depends on the students. Are you getting me? If your family feels that they should take you to Covenant University, even if they don't have enough money, they can go ahead and borrow. But do you know, even if they borrow, take you to Covenant University, you come out with the bright grade, and then you get a job, they will forget all their problems in the
Expense.
past,
Yeah.
expenses and the rest. At the end of it all, we should narrow it down to the students. Are you getting me? There are some people in this country, their parents never paid their school fees, they
Yeah.
scratched through, came out from school with a good result. Some like became lecturers, then start doing things. Are you getting me? So at the end of it all, I'm trying to channel this discussion to the students. How do you want to utilize your parents' money? Are you getting me? Because it's the responsibility of your parents if they choose to have that responsibility to train you in school. So I will kind of endure the students to be able to focus to use their family's money well. Are you getting me? To make sure when they come out of school, they'll be able to say, yes, this is what I learned. I got from my parents. Thank you
Okay,
so
I want
much.
to ask this question here. If now a student decides that, oh, my school fees is 180,000 naira, I don't think it's useful for me to give it to the school, and tells the parents that he or she is going to school, and then uses that money to start up a business, and then comes out from the business good, does and the parents now like be disappointed and meant to go to school, do you think that's a good decision to me?
It's a very good decision.
Because there's money in
Yeah,
it. What
it's
if this child would have gone to school and then graduate with A? Maybe the parents wanted this child to graduate with a first class or something. Would that
sorry.
be a bad
I wanted to come in
investment
before
then?
you come in. What I want to say is this. That's why I'm always narrowing to the students. If you feel as a student that you don't want to go to school, there are some bright, very bright students. They don't want to go to school. Very bright ones too. They believe that this is my calling. I want to be a businessman. But that is not what their parents, his parents want. Are you getting me? What he does is okay, can you give me the money? Takes the money, make proper use of it, and become somebody in life. You the parents will come back because they, no matter how you say it, once the you cannot discriminate excellence. Are you getting me? If the child is very good, okay, he wants to be a businessman, whether he's very good in school or not, if he comes out very well, the parents will always come back and say, my son, you have done very well. So I believe in the choice of the students. Very important.
So it's not the book aspect, it's the coming out with good finance that's more important.
Mm.
With the case you explained.
Yes, and then they what like what is the end point? That's what we're talking about. What is the end point? If you go to school, they pay you, take you to Covenant University, you spend millions of money, you not come out well. Let's forget the fact that your parents are so they are connected and not come out well. Yeah, you are just a useless person. Sorry, you did not really make use of the money that they paid for. Are you getting me? Well, whether you go to school, you did not graduate, you drop out of school, you graduated, or you traveled, lie to your parents that you are doing, you are schooling. At the end of it all, if you do a neat job, are you getting me, free of corruption and the rest, and make something out of it, you'll be celebrated. You'll be celebrated.
Okay, I think I have a different opinion. For me, I always like to look at things from business perspective because, for example, the topic we are talking about is school a good investment or a scam?
Mm.
I see parents like shareholders of a business and the child is the business. So I believe the shareholders should be aware of where their money is. So a child, I wouldn't support the idea of a child taking the parents' money to go to start up a business and you tell them that you're in school. Two major reasons why I don't agree with that is first, your parents should be aware that where they are spending their money because they have their hopes. Then second, business is something that has its own risk. It's not all business that you're going to start that you're going to make it. And imagine a business that you are starting on the basis of that kind of pressure of if you lose it, you are going to lose your education and you are losing the business and you are losing like a relationship with your family and all that. But at the end of the day, like you said, your parents will always accept you, and it's true. No matter what you do at the end of the day, they will still look for a way to accept you. But I will still suggest if you are in school
Mm.
and you have an idea, maybe you want to go into business, just don't use your parents' money in school for your school fees to start up the business because the possibility of making it like investment is like a seed.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
plant it, the first thing that is going to happen, the seed is going to go bad.
Mm.
Then you have to nurture
Yes,
it, you have to
yes.
take all the risk. I'm coming. You have to take all the risk and all that. So all those things are there in the business. So starting it on the basis of that lie is where I will not agree on. I think because I had similar thoughts when I was in school. Whether I was in school and I'm looking at it, should I just this now? I have all these ideas, but I would suggest, in my own personal belief, that if you have the idea to go into business, don't take your parents' money for school fees for it.
You know,
Wait, graduate first. Or if you want to drop out, drop out. Tell them if they're willing to support you, let them support you for that.
no, that is what I said. I'm not against the fact. I'm not supporting the fact that you are taking your father's money or your parents' money to go and invest in business. That is even big. That is because of your parents' nature, the way they used to think. Are you getting me? You just said that business has its own problems,
Risk.
the other
Ups
issue
and
that,
down.
yeah, ups and down. Are you getting me? It's even the ups and down, the stress, the pressure that will make the person to really be focused. Let me tell you one of the problem of school. The fact that the parents are aware, they are so comfortable. Let me be comfortable now I'm going to school. Abeg send me money for this. No,
Yeah, true.
they are so comfortable. You get it? But when you send yourself towards your own passion, eh, the only issue we're having is the parents ideas. They don't want to go and do business.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? It's just that because we're not entrepreneurs, we would like our children to be entrepreneurs. So even though most times you see entrepreneurs, people that are not well enlightened, they don't want their children to be entrepreneurs. Are you getting me? So what I'm trying to say is that parents should reduce the pressure they have on their children. But children should also know that in as much as school is an accepted norm that everybody should go to school, they should apply that pressure, because nothing is gotten without pressure. Nothing worthwhile is gotten without pressure. You need pressure to push you to do your best. It's very important. So all the things you have said is okay, but that aspect of a student's choice to go and use the money in case sometimes we have had that kind of stories. People use the money for their school fees and they now become billionaires and
No, no,
millionaires,
nobody is
and that's
that. I just
celebrated.
feel that for me
Mm.
personally,
They
I
should
wouldn't
not.
support
Okay,
that.
no
So
problem.
that's all.
No problem.
Okay. Can graduates apply what they've learned in school in their business and their life?
Yes, they can apply well, but most times, because of the nature of the economy, we will end up not working in the sector that we read in school or we professionalize in school. So what I will suggest is this: um, the principle, like the way you discipline yourself in the school, can help you to excel in any part of the economy that you find yourself. Somebody like me, I'm not going to lie to you. I studied I studied science related courses, but what I'm doing business now. But each time I'm doing business, the only thing I can put in each time I'm doing business is what I learned from school. The only thing I learned that I can really relate to what I'm doing now is the ability to focus on something and do it very well. It's very important to me because when I was in school, I made one powerful mistake that really changed my mindset. So I now told myself that when I enter business, I will not repeat such a very bad mistake because it's going to really bring me down. So since then, when I started business, I have not made that kind of mistake. I always go all in. I will make sure I will not make that kind of mistake again. So that's what I learned. But most times we don't end up doing what we learned in school.
Okay. I think he stated that about 80% of graduates end up in a different field than what they studied in university. So
Okay.
I think the question is, can graduates apply what they learned in school to life and business? I think there's a distinction between schooling and education. I think maybe this is the time I'll say it. Mark Twain said, I've never allowed schooling to get in the way of my education, showing that there's a difference between schooling and education. So you had what you studied in school directly. You had some things that you learned through relating with people. Those are education. But your schooling is what you came to study. This is the area that you are expected to be a professional in. Can you apply that in your real life? I think for me, I would say partially. Partially, it's not complete because most times the education system, like I would say, is highly based on memorization of information. So one plus one is two. What is the definition of this? And you go out there, you think you are going to sit down, possibly sit down, and somebody is going to ask you, who is the first president of United States of America? And a smart guy out there that has read very well will be like, George Washington. Maybe I may not need to know it, but if I just want to know, I can just easily pick up my phone because of development. I can just easily pick up my phone, type this thing, and I've seen it. So when it comes to whether they can apply it, yes, they can to some extent, but at the end of the day, their education, which is, let me just take it school now, take out the school concept, which is what they went to study. Let's say they went to study chemistry. The possibility of them applying chemistry to their life is lesser than the education, which is in terms of relating with people, in terms of understanding how to tolerate people and all that,
Okay.
to some extent, is what they can apply very well, very well.
So my next question is, what do you think about the Student Loan Act by President Tinubu?
I indirect to my brother first.
Okay.
Okay, I think you say development in our nation is something that um, the civilized nations have been experiencing, and I think we should also experience it as well. Say development first, but there is one thing I always say, because whenever the purpose of something, whenever you are doing something, you have to look at what is the purpose of this. So the Student Loan Act gives people gives let me just look at quote Tinubu as President Tinubu as he said that the purpose of this is to help eradicate poverty, and the way to eradicate poverty is through education. And if you can help a member of just one single member of the family to go to school and the person is educated, then the person can come out and help others. So I think the problem now comes from, if the person is done with the school and the person does not have a job due to some certain things, due to the possibly the economy and some difficulties in this country,
Mm.
then how can the person help others? How can the person help the relative? So I believe all these things has to come together. If they are going to implement laws on giving students loan, they should be able also, which is what I would encourage or urge for the this administration, this current administration, is if they are going to give student loan, they should come up with some policies. They should come up with some, whether grants or things that can enable these people to put in their education or their schooling into use once they are done with school, so that they can be able to help their family members, also help themselves as well.
Okay. So concerning about the student loan by President Tinubu, I have two things to say about it. One is it is a good move in the government, that there is a need for the president to impact on the students. It's very important. Like you just said that if one person in the family is able to utilize the opportunity, like I said, utilize the opportunity, not just go to school and come
Yeah.
out with pride. I get him, utilize the opportunity. And let's say on that probability is that person that will grow, that person that will change, really change the nature of the family and become a bright light to the family.
Yeah.
That means the idea of Tinubu has worked. That is one. So you can remember we discussed one time when somebody saw Atiku Abubakar, that is the former vice president.
Mm.
He said, "You helped to train me in school." For that person to meet Atiku Abubakar,
Mm.
that means he has already made it somehow.
Yes.
For him
Yes.
to get close to Abubakar that
Yeah.
time. So that means he said, "You paid for my school fees without you knowing." All these their foundation, their
Yes, it's foundation
philanthropy,
article,
and
Yeah.
you get it.
foundation.
So it can really help. This thing is another way to eradicate poverty in the country, that is well. But my major issue with it, which is a good thing, but my major issue with it is the rate, the manner in which you are going to access this loan. That's our issue, because our politicians, they are always looking for opportunity to loot money.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? This money is going to be distributed by politicians, and they will be the one to say that you are qualified or you are not qualified, because they have to scrutinize things before they give you money. So politicians, they will use this opportunity to siphon money. So I think in my own way, somehow, as far as it's passing through the politicians, the money is going to be looted, and
To some
to an
extent.
Yeah.
extent,
To us.
and before they will give it rightly to the people that need it, is going to be hard. So that's my major issue. So I kind of enjoy the president to bring out means in which he can be able to channel this money to the right people that need the money, for him to really achieve his aim in the act. Thank you so much.
But we should not forget that this thing is a loan. And it's not like you are going to take the money
So
and it's going to last till you finish school.
the,
When you now finish school, that's when you pay back.
yeah, that's why I made mention when I started. I say it's a good thing. You know why I say it's a good thing? In a probability, something must be positive, like by his grace. So let me say you are the one, because nothing is certain. Let me say peradventure, A, got the loan,
Yeah.
use it properly,
Yeah.
become a very great person. Paying the loan is nothing. Are you getting me? But it's
Okay.
that person that did not go get the loan and do it with pressure. Make sure, okay, I want to come out with something good for myself. You really want to flop. But let's say you are good, you know that you are getting a loan, just as the bank
Yes.
gives you loan. You know that if you don't pay back, they will take up your business. So if you apply pressure, get something out of it. Paying back the loan isn't an issue because you're going to even help a lot of people. If you can help people, help your parents, help your relatives, a loan is nothing. So that is not an issue.
I wanted to know this loan of a thing. Sorry, I'm digging into it because I
Okay.
really want to understand it. This loan thing, when are they to pay back? Because, or do you have to wait till your final year before you pay? Because, like you explained, paying back is not a big deal. But if a family that cannot afford 500,000 naira, cannot afford 100,000 naira, they're taking that loan to pay fees, meaning the child should still be in school, right?
Okay.
So how then can the person pay back? Because it's a loan, you have to pay back. Is it that you're paying what if I'm in 100 level
Mm.
and my parents now take student loan
Mm.
or I took student loan
Okay.
and now I have 2 years to pay. Then in 2 years time I'm pressured to want to get that money back to pay back. And I have to still go to school and I still have bills to pay. So how then do I have to pay that money back?
I think. Thank you so much for this question. I think Socrates said, "Unexamined life is not worth living," and that is true. You just have to scrutinize. If somebody is giving you something, you have to ask questions. That's the same thing I'm talking about. That this system of student loan, allowing students to have access to loan, is something that has been going on in civilized nations. But look at how they do it in civilized nations. They have what we call working at the same time schooling. So you are working, they provide that system that you are working and you are schooling. At the end of the day, when you are done with school, you have either maybe generated half of the loan,
Yeah.
generated the money, then you have a work waiting for you that even though you don't get an higher job, there's a system that you can be paying this money. But the problem all falls back to the school system of Nigeria.
Mhm.
You are giving people money to go to school because even if you take a proposal to a bank, you want to get a loan, they will scrutinize the proposal.
Yeah.
Now, if the business you want to invest in, they look at it that you cannot make that money, it's your own risk. Oh, you have a land that you are using as a collateral. They will not give you the money. Why? Because they don't want to invest in a business that will fail.
Yeah.
They know that every business is a risk, yes, but some business you just know that this thing is going to fail, so you will not invest in it, you will not give it a loan. So same thing is what I'm still saying. If people are going to leave school, going to get loan to go to this school, and the school system is still the way it is, that is producing graduates are coming out and 80% of them are most times not employed. I don't want to go into the theory of whether why they are not employed, whether they didn't make proper use of it or make proper use of their knowledge or not. What I'm saying is that the school system should be structured in a way that it can
It
favor
always work.
and no,
Yes.
It
it
should
can favor,
work.
not always work, it can favor an average student.
Yes.
It should.
I shouldn't be the one that, okay, maybe I had an A, or I must be an A player before I can be produced for outside. What is democracy? Protection of the weak, which is me submitting my allegiance to somebody that is stronger, then that person will protect me. So in a nation that is practicing democracy, that we are looking at this thing, that are going to give out loan to students, I feel that before we give out this loan, this country should come out, or this administration should tell us how these people are going to pay the loan. I don't want somebody to go to school and is not employed, is now in debt,
Yes.
is now in debt of schooling, of
But that kind
school
of
fees.
that kind of
I'm going somewhere. Is now in debt of the school that he passed through, doesn't have a job, is now in debt of feeding, is now in debt of many things. So that is what I think, that for us to practice this thing perfectly, we have to go and look at these people that are doing this, these nations that are doing this successfully. How are they doing it? We bring it back, we reconstruct the school system so that the people that are taking this loan can be employable. This is my problem with Nigerian schooling system. I feel they are producing people that are unemployable, not that there's no employment somewhere. There employment everywhere. What is employment? People coming in to solve problem. But now the school system are producing people, sometimes you just come in, okay, we just interviewed some people. What are you now going to do for us? How are you going to promote the business? They don't practically know. You think that, oh, it's their fault. They were not taught. And we did these courses, some of all these courses that were channeled towards entrepreneurship in school. Even when you go through some of all these courses, the solution is not provided, because these people that are teaching these courses are also products of the same system that I feel that is faulty. So for me, personally, I think let
No,
the administration come out and look for a way that these people are going to be able to pay this money, or tell them that if they can't pay the money and they're unemployed and they don't have the money, they should be pardoned, possibly.
that's where I'm going to, because I've answered the question half. Answered it half. She asked the question, if you don't have the money to pay it back,
Okay.
you are not trying
Like,
to.
how can you
How
get the
can you
money to pay
get
back when you
to?
are still
That's what I'm
paying?
saying. No, I'm not sure if you pay back when you are not done with
You pay
school.
back after 2 years,
After
After
based
school,
on
two
the
years, what
yeah.
if I
after
borrow the money in 100
after
level?
2 years,
Yes,
after when
after
you
two
have
years when you have
graduated.
Oh,
graduated. two
that's when you
years when you
pay.
have
Yeah, but
graduated.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
in the scenario where you don't have money to pay back,
Mm.
you have answered the question by saying that government should make sure they provide job.
Well,
I get
environment.
environment. Yeah, is job now, enabling environment for them to have job.
Mm.
But in other ways, if you cannot pay back the loan, that's why I think for the government, it should be an inherited debt by the by the government.
See, this is where the
I
problem
I,
comes.
I just wanted to, it
Yes.
should be an inherited
No.
debt,
No.
by
That's
the
what you need to
government.
be.
Okay. Okay.
By
Now,
the same
now,
government.
this is
Yes,
the problem that
it's
we're
owned by
having
the,
now.
the debt is not
This is
owned
the
by
problem that we're having now. We're
that's
talking
how they do
about
it.
removing of fuel subsidy, which is what they did. They said at a point this country was spending over 20 billion in this fuel subsidy of a stuff. Then they now had to remove it. Why? Because it's just putting heavy burden on the Nigerians. Now it's going to be painful that we remove fuel subsidy to bring in student loan.
Loan
Then at the end of the
ATM
day, years after, that thing
requirement
will now
debt
be a burden.
to the government.
It be a burden to the government, of which we know what the economy how the
And
economy
that's
Depends on
true.
is.
what
And
they
it
So
do.
may
that's
it
what I
may
just
make
feel.
the people borrowing the money lazy.
You know
Since they know that, oh, if they don't pay back,
that
it will
that
go back, it still go back to the
definitely,
government. So
definitely.
okay. What are the possible barriers the school system is creating to the economy and entrepreneurship? I believe so
Okay.
many of the things we've even said are barriers.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like a virus. That's what I call it. It's like a virus that's in our society, our environment, our parents, even in the school. I get him. I don't want to extend it to the church, but that mentality of entrepreneurship has been coined to be a fraudulent act. Are you getting me? In the school, they always feel that all those entrepreneurs are criminals. Are you getting me? So none of them want to become entrepreneurs. That's what I feel. If not, normally you know that your parents that not go to school probably did not go to school. They can be able to train you in school, but you will not see that as an honorable job. You want to now go and work in companies where you will talk in and wear suits, go and stay in an office, they pay you some money, you feel that you are more honorable than your parents that train you in school. Are you getting? So that mentality that entrepreneurship or businessmen are criminals, that is the major issue we are having. Because if you discuss with graduates now or people that are about to graduate, they always feel that no, entrepreneurship. But at the end of it all, entrepreneurship is entrepreneurs will raise money and sponsor a lot of people in school. Are you getting me? So the lecturers, I wanted to say the lecturers are the issues. No, this is a
Part of the
very
issues.
no, they're not part of the why I say they're not part of the issues. Even people that are not go to school, they have the same mentality. Are you getting me? So the society, because I found out that the family is the nucleus of the government. Are you getting me? That in fact, family is the nucleus of all form of life. Are you getting me? So when a particular person that is a lecturer has a family that really kind of somehow impacted this kind of mindset that is not good, the person will now carry it to the school, lecture hall and then spread this kind of virus to the students, and they tend to believe it because as higher person they have to believe you. So I will enjoy our parents to start changing this notion of feeling that entrepreneurship, why should they add money to sell? That is business. Are you getting me? So let's change that factor, that mentality, so that our children can go to school, come and boldly say, I want to be an entrepreneur, and then they become entrepreneurs. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I so much believe in what you said, parent aspect,
Yeah.
because a lot of parents they'll be like, if a child comes and be like, "Oh, daddy, I want to start doing something while in school," they'll be like focused, especially the ones that are always digging on graduating well,
Mm.
having good grades.
Mm.
They would not encourage their children to want
Mm.
to do something while
Yeah,
schooling. They will be
yes.
like, "No, no, no," and that's actually a barrier
Mm.
because some persons, if they had started earlier,
So that,
they would have before graduating they would have done something big. But parents play a very crucial role in as some parents are barriers as well,
yeah.
like you said. Mr. Precious, what do you think?
You guys just talked about one of the barrier
Yeah.
that the school system is creating. Now, that is very true, so true, and I completely agree with you people. Another thing again concerning this, looking at entrepreneurs, some people that are educated tend to think that entrepreneurs, maybe somebody, let's just say the person is a business person, the person owns a shop, and that person works, then the person that is working that is possibly earning 400,000 thinks is better than the other person that owns a shop. Have you you have not gone to calculate his or her salary, his or her profit, to know how much he's earning.
Yeah.
So that's another barrier. Then another barrier that I feel that is the school system is creating to entrepreneurship is the people that are bringing out, because they are the ones bringing out the workforce, the those that will be employed. So you have graduates coming out with what I call high sense of entitlement. Those that the school are producing, the school system will produce somebody, then because you got an A or through,
Yeah.
you feel that you're entitled to some certain amount of money of the business, and you are not solving that much of a problem. So I think where that problem is coming from is the criterion, which is what I talked about, the criterion of giving student an A,
Yeah.
which is predicated on memorization of information. Not necessarily this person is somebody that can solve a problem,
Yeah.
but it's just I can memorize
Yeah.
information, then I can come out and
Right.
say it in a scholastic way, write it down,
Paper
then
cool.
then
Yes.
that's all. So I feel that's one of the barriers. So you employ this person that has a first class.
Yeah.
You tell the person sit down. Okay, now in business, oh, we're talking about okay communication in business, not necessarily using sophisticated languages or words. It's about communicating to the customer in the customer's language. Somebody said if you can help enough people get what they want, they will help you get what you want. So in business, we are looking at helping enough people get what they want so that they can bring in profit. So that's one of the barriers I feel that these people passing through the school system, they give them is and they don't know, which is what the school system is all about. You have to read on your own. Definitely, one thing about the school system is this: I can go to school on my own, read on my own, write exam on my own. There is one single answer, write it and do it and come out, and I should not fail. Now you come to business, is different.
Yeah.
You can't work alone, you have to do things with people, so you have to work with people, which is another thing which you don't see in school system. Secondly, you fail, you experience failure, you experience difficulty. Some of all these things, you are not like, oh, in exam that you are giving in school system you are giving like 3 months to read for exam. Sometimes in business it's not so. You are confronted with a problem immediately and you have to provide the answer.
Yeah.
So I think one of the barriers the school system is producing is bringing out people with huge sense of entitlement. Maybe they can tell them, hey, learn more and be obedient when you go out there. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Okay, I think the school system has really brought up so many mentalities because, like you said, Nigeria's school system is a
Yes.
good investment or a scam. Nigeria's school system has put us in a box. Like I think there was a time I was coming back from work.
Okay.
It was a bit late, me and my friend,
Mm.
and they stopped us. These people are they are like policemen or something.
Okay.
They stopped us and they were like, "Why are you guys coming late from work like this?" And we're like, "We work. We are coming from work." And they're like, "Our mates are in the office." Like meaning they're trying to tell us that we are not good enough, we're not smart enough
Yes.
to be in the office, to be working. That our mates are in the office working and they close by 5 o'clock. Why is it that my job, which is being an entrepreneur,
Mm.
coming from my job, I'm closing by this time?
Mm.
Meaning I'm a liar, meaning I'm a this. So their ideal of how school is, which is when you're educated, you graduate with good with good grades. You
Mm.
are meant to be in the office, working and getting big pay, and that's, I won't say the word fucked up one. That's not good. I think the idea generally is a barrier. First of all, the idea, the mindset that the school system has already put in every one of us should really change. So, what are the advantages of being an educated entrepreneur?
Okay, first, this is the part I say. In as much as I tend to have a problem with the school system, I
Yeah,
passed through it.
yeah,
So I'm a graduate
yeah,
of University of Benin. Then the advantages I would say is, first, one of the things I see is there is this sense of low self-esteem that comes from if you are not being educated to some extent.
yeah, true.
And in entrepreneurship, you need confidence. You need confidence. So if you're educated, it gives you that self-esteem. It gives you that zeal, that kind of inner feeling that hey, you can approach matters, you can talk about something. So that's one of the advantage. Another advantage I see is sometimes when it comes to business requires keeping a lot of record. So you take a lot of
Oh
record.
yeah, documentation.
People that are, this is just one thing that is true. If you meet people that are educated and those that are not educated, the people that are educated tend to take record. The people that are not educated, there is one thing about most times, and it's just not like I'm against them, but they don't take much record. Sometimes if you have this experience, I've seen instances, I will give somebody my phone number, I will save it, I'll be like, save my number. The person will be like, okay, it ended with 60. I will know when you call. Sometimes the
Yeah.
difficulty that I'm having is to just how to save it with your name. And you will call them, sometimes you do business with them a year, they have not saved your number, and the day they will need to call you and pass you information, they will not. They will be like, I'm looking for your number. You'll be like, you didn't save my number. Sometimes the problem they're just having there is they want to save your number. Or another thing again is communication. So sometimes, because communication involves choice of word, how are you going to say what you are going to say? So the education system enables you to have that choice of words. Okay, you know, okay, this is how I'm going to communicate with this person, to be for the person to be able to understand what I'm saying. So I feel that those are the advantage, and why I will encourage every young person that even though you want to be an entrepreneur, you should go to school. You should go through the school system.
Okay, Mr. Famous, do you agree with him?
I agreed. Agreed perfectly. What I want to chip in is the for being a graduate as an entrepreneur, it goes a long way because as an entrepreneur you need to grow,
Yeah.
and you cannot grow without having information. The major impact of school in entrepreneur is when you go and source for information. It's very important. For example, we have read a lot of books in entrepreneurship. That is because we pass through school. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
This reading has a spirit. If you are not acquainted with reading, you cannot read. It's always difficult for you to read. Are you getting me? So, but if you have passed through school, you have graduated, you can go as far any length to go and study books.
Yeah.
So it boils down to this: an entrepreneur that is a graduate will grow faster. I think will grow faster than someone that did not graduate, because you just be working with your mindset, probably the mindset of your parents
Yeah.
or your business partners.
Yeah.
But if you are a graduate and you are an entrepreneur, you source for information, you have mentors that probably both dead and living. You can go and buy their books and read, play their tapes, listen very well. It makes you smarter, because an entrepreneur is that person that a businessman that always grow, look for how to grow
Yeah.
in the midst of difficulty. So that is the good aspect of it, that you're always reading your books, business books by Donald Trump and the rest of the big entrepreneurs. So it's going to make put you way ahead of every other person that is not a graduate.
I think
Thank you.
one of the advantages, personally, especially in Nigeria's school system,
Yes.
has to be finance. Hey, when you're educated, they tend to give you have more privilege than people that are not educated, people that
Get
are
a
in
job.
school for jobs. Eventually, if you get one,
Mm.
you have more privilege than the others. And also, one of the advantages are the people you meet in school, the school system. You tend to meet a lot of people, you converse, your circle. Then when you get to school,
Learn.
you tend to learn and meet people and know
Yes.
new things about, because school is definitely not people that you meet in that environment. There are different people coming from different places.
Yes.
So when you get to school, the people you now meet tend to help your entrepreneurs, because there's sometimes in your business, you guys are businessmen now.
Yeah.
There's sometimes in your business that the people you met in school are one of the people that helped you grow. I'm not saying, I don't know for you, but most especially people that you met in your school environments help you grow, help you distribute your business in all over the world. Because
Yeah.
if you have a classmate that stays in Lagos,
Mm.
that stays in this place, Europe, wherever the person may be, when you are into business, it helps you push your business further. I think that's one of the things. Not the, me, I don't believe in the book aspect of education. I believe in the surrounding, the outside, the secondary aspect of education. That's what I personally believe in. So I have a question for viewers. Do you think the best way to eradicate poverty is education? Do you think? Please drop your comments. We would like to hear your views about this question. And do you have anything to say regarding this question?
Um,
Do you think the best way to eradicate poverty is education?
yes, I would say the best way, one of the best ways to eradicate poverty is education. But to
One
some,
of.
one of the best way to eradicate poverty is education, not necessarily schooling. That's where the problem is coming from. Education is more of like learning. But schooling, we are talking about an institution structured to teach people principles. Some of these principles are unapplicable. That's the problem that I have with it. So
Okay.
if you say education, which is somebody can sit to some extent, somebody that has a BSc is educated, right?
Yeah.
But in our society, people that are just done with secondary school, we don't see them as people that are educated.
Yeah.
To some people, to some families, if you don't have a master's degree, you are looked at, you are not educated to some
Okay. Yeah.
extent. So it's depending on where we are
Perspective.
benching this thing, the perspective we are benching this thing. If somebody that is done with secondary school can read and write, can go sort for education, which is go through mentorship, go through reading of books, because of which, yes, after secondary school you should be able to know how to read and write.
Yeah.
So for me, education, okay, let me say education plus schooling is one of the major ways to eradicate poverty. I think that would be my conclusion.
I will go with it.
All right.
Education is one of the best way.
One of,
One
not
of
like
the
it's the
best
best
way.
way to
Yes.
eradicate poverty.
Yes. Very. Because information is there. Get your information and do your business. Very important.
Okay. We've come to a conclusion about today's episode. I believe you guys are educated, because it doesn't have to be school. I believe you guys are educated. You guys have learned. And please don't forget to drop your comments regarding the question. Like, share, comment for more educating and enlightening conversation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel
Yeah,
so
very
you can get
important.
more
Yes.
wisdom and learn more.
Yeah.
Understand? To eradicate poverty.